Hi everyone, and welcome to this quick presentation on sodium, what it is, how it works in the body, and why it matters. Sodium is one of those nutrients we hear about constantly, but very few people actually understand what it is. So today, we'll go step by step, from chemistry all the way to health effects. Let's get started. So first, let's talk definitions. Sodium is a mineral and a chemical element. Its symbol is Na, and its atomic number is 11. In nature, it exists as a naturally occurring inorganic solid when found in mineral form. It's considered a non-essential mineral element only in the sense that the body can't produce it on its own, yet we absolutely do require it for human physiology. And here's a neat bit of background. Sodium originally formed through stellar nucleosynthesis inside massive stars. When those stars exploded as supernovae, sodium was expelled into space as neutral elemental sodium atoms, not yet ionized. Over time, as Earth formed, sodium reacted with other elements like chlorine and eventually became part of mineral deposits. So that's sodium at its most fundamental. Now let's shift to the chemistry of sodium. Elemental sodium, plain Na, is a soft, reactive metal. Because it reacts so easily, it's never found freely in nature on Earth. In biology and in food, the form we encounter is ionic sodium, Na+. That's the version listed on nutrition labels and the version circulating in the body, such as in the bloodstream and small intestine. The most familiar form, of course, is sodium chloride, NaCl, better known as table salt. This is a crystalline mineral called halite. Its strong, organized lattice structure inside makes it highly heat stable. Once NaCl dissolves in water or inside our digestive system, it breaks apart into Na plus and Cl minus ions. So can sodium be broken down during cooking or heating? The short answer is no. Sodium, whether as Na plus or NaCl, is extremely heat stable. Boiling water at 100 degrees Celsius or even cooking at 150 to 200 degrees Celsius doesn't destroy sodium. The salt crystals may dissolve, but the Na plus ions stay put. They simply spread through the water or moisture in the food. The only real way to lose sodium during cooking is to throw away the cooking water. Now let's look at what happens when sodium enters the body. Digestion. Sodium doesn't need to be digested. Once dissolved, it's already in ionic form, Na+, and quickly reaches the small intestine. Absorption. Most sodium absorption happens in the small intestine through sodium glucose co-transporters called SGLT1. These proteins move glucose into cells using sodium. When sodium intake is high, passive diffusion also helps. Overall, the body absorbs nearly 100% of the sodium we consume. Transport. Once Na plus enters the bloodstream, the body tightly regulates it. Hormones such as aldosterone, produced by the adrenal glands, maintain the balance between sodium and potassium. Meanwhile, antidiuretic hormone, or ADH, produced in the hypothalamus, reduces water loss by acting on the kidneys. Now that sodium is in the system, what does it actually do? Sodium works closely with potassium through the sodium-potassium pump, powered by the enzyme Na+, K+, adenosine triphosphatase. This pump moves ions against their gradients to stabilize fluids inside and outside of blood cells. Sodium also helps regulate blood pressure. It also enables muscle contraction, and it also triggers thirst. If sodium levels drop too low, the body seeks sodium or water. If levels get too high, the body seeks water to dilute it. So how much sodium do we actually need? The adequate intake, or AI, is 1,500 milligrams per day. The tolerable upper intake level, or UL, is 2,300 milligrams per day. Eating less than 1,500 milligrams once in a while isn't necessarily harmful, but long-term low intake can lead to salt cravings, excessive thirst, and discomfort. Chronic high intake, however, can lead to hypertension, water retention, and anxiety-like restlessness. Many people report twitchiness or agitation when their sodium intake is consistently high. When you look at a nutrition label, the sodium listed always refers to Na+, not the NaCl crystal. That's because NaCl dissociates into ions once dissolved. The main sources of sodium in the American diet are processed foods, restaurant meals, packaged snacks, cured meats, and canned foods. Natural foods like vegetables and dairy contain only small amounts by comparison. Food processing dramatically increases sodium because salt is used for preservation, flavor, texture, and stability. And sodium-based additives like bicarbonate and benzoate are often added as well. In fact, more than 70% of the sodium people consume comes from processed foods, not from the salt they add at home. Sodium is also uncommon in fortified foods. Finally, let's talk about what happens when sodium levels go too low or too high. Deficiency, also known as hyponatremia, can occur from excessive sweating without replacing electrolytes, drinking too much water, or long-term low sodium intake. Symptoms include thirst, fatigue, headache, confusion, feeling off, and mild anxiety due to imbalance. Toxicity, or hypernatremia, can occur from chronic high sodium intake, low water intake, or kidney retention. Symptoms include thirst, water retention, high blood pressure, twitchiness, restlessness, anxiety-like agitation, and increased cardiovascular risk. High sodium intake overall is associated with hypertension, heart disease, cardiovascular disease, stroke, and kidney strain. So, to wrap things up, sodium is a chemically simple but biologically essential element. It plays a major role in fluid balance, muscle function, nerve activity, and overall health. But like many nutrients, balance is key. Too little or too much can create real problems. Understanding where sodium comes from and how the body handles it helps us make informed dietary choices. Thanks for listening, and I hope this presentation helped clarify what sodium is and why it matters. Have a wonderful day and keep stir frying.